Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about the molecular level of muscle contraction. That is nothing but of sliding filament theory. This theory has been proposed independently by two scientists, namely A.F. Huxley and J. Hansen. In the year 1958, this theory is widely accepted. So, this theory, molecular level of muscle contraction, is nothing but of sliding filament theory. So, before learning of this theory, we should know the structure of myosin and actin filaments. See the structure of myosin filament. Here this myosin filament it is a thick filament. It has a head, neck and tail region. In the head region, we can see actin binding site and the ATP binding site. Next we will see the structure of actin. See here, it has, this is the troponin, this is the tropomyosin, then this is the actin. See here, this is the actin. It has, this part is the tropin complex. It has again three molecules. They are namely TNT, TNC and TNI. So when calcium molecule is get attached to the TNC, so this troponin pulled away the tropomyosin. Then the actin binding sites are get exposed to the binding with the myosin molecule. This is the ultrastructure of muscle fiber. It has, this part is the sarcomere. These two are the Z lines. In between two Z lines, the space is known as sarcomere. It has A band, I band. This is the A band, I band, then Z lines. This is the myosin molecule. These are the actin molecules. According to this theory, during both contraction and relaxation of a muscle, the length of A band or thick filaments remains constant, while the length of I band shortens. Depending on the length of I band, the length of H band increases or decreases. That is to say, when contraction of muscle occurs, the thin myosin filaments slide inwards towards H zone or H band. Thus, the sarcomere decreases in length or shortens, but the lengths of thick and thin filaments remain constant. The above observation indicates that when a muscle changes its length, the filaments themselves do not perceptibly, that means spastamga, clearly change in length, but the two sets of filaments slide over the other. That is, the thin filaments moving farther into A bands during contraction and moving farther out of them during relaxation. During this movement, the cross bridges of thick myofilaments connect with the portions of actin of thin myofilaments. These cross bridges move like oars of a boat and the sliding takes place. The sliding of myofilaments and shortening of sarcomeres result in shortening of muscle. The cross bridges play an important role in muscle contraction. It has been concluded by H.E. Huxley in the year 1965 that the heads of myosin molecules which have the enzymatic and actin binding properties serve as the cross bridges connecting the actin and myosin filaments in the muscle. The myosin molecules possess an inherent character of aggregating these heads in one direction along the other half of the myosin filament. This property of myosin molecules is very important to understand the sliding filament theory at molecular level. During contraction the thin filaments move towards each other in the center of the A bands, so that it is required that all the elements of force generated by cross bridges in one half of the A band be oriented in the same direction, and that the direction of the force be reversed in the other half. Thus, during interaction of actin and myosin, the direction of the force depends on the orientation of actin and myosin molecules. During contraction, a chemical reaction takes place between actin and myosin, which causes the myosin cross bridges to pull the actin filament in a ratchet-like action for a short distance. The cross bridge then fits the next receptor on actin filament, and so on till the actin filaments on the two ends of the sarcomere come to meet in the center of the H band. Further contraction crumples the actin and myosin filaments. The actin filaments, as they slide towards each other, shorten the length of the myofibrils so that the muscle contracts. During the process of contraction, hydrolysis of ATP takes place, which provides the energy for contraction. When the hydrolysis of ATP stops as a result of inactivation of an enzyme, ATPase, activity of actomyosin by the removal of calcium ions, the myosin and the actin dissociate, and the muscle returns to its original relaxed state. Students, all of you clear? Did you understand? If you have any doubt, you can post your doubt in the Google Classroom or in our WhatsApp group. I hope you have understood well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.